Hi, thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about how to set up a role play. The first thing you have to do is make sure you actually read the role play. But before you do that, take a look at the performance indicators that come with the role play to get an idea of what you're going to be looking for as you're reading the article. Performance indicators will typically look like this. Explain the nature of operations, describe the health and safety regulations in business, report non-compliance with business health and safety regulations, and follow precautions. In this particular role play, it says you are to assume the role of a candidate for a summer internship at the Centennial. It's a luxury high-rise 1,200 room hotel located in the heart of a major tourist destination. You have submitted your resume and you've been invited for a personal interview, and you're going to be doing it with the Director of Human Resources. There was a fire that broke out on the 27th floor recently. An investigation revealed that it was due to exposed electrical wires. In the first part of the interview, you're going to do your best to explain the need for all employees to follow safety precautions in the day-to-day operation of the hotel. In addition, your presentation must address the remaining performance indicators listed on the first page of this event. Following your explanation, the Director of Human Resources will ask you to respond to additional questions. So in this scenario here, you're being asked questions that pertain to safety in the workplace. This is particularly because it's happened before. These are the performance indicators, as mentioned before. The downside is they're very difficult to kind of go through just by the way they are. So you want to shorten them up as much as possible. In this case, the one that says explain the nature of operations ends up becoming nature of operations. So when you write this on your notes, just shorten it up down to that. That's pretty much what you need. Then the next one, it says describe health and safety regulations in businesses. Now becomes health and safety regulations. Shorten it up. Next one says report non-compliance with business health and safety regulations. This now becomes non-compliance with regulations. Then we move on to the next one, report the next one is follow safety precautions, and then you just shorten it up to safety precautions. So now when you write up your format, you should just, what I do is I write all these things on a piece of paper in a nice little list, and I write my details in all of them. I write down details of how I'll tackle each one, and I try to do my best to explain it in a nice little logical format that goes step by step by step. Now, if for some reason, when you start to do the role play, you have to go out of order, do your best to make sure that you actually say these key words. These are the words you want to be saying. The ones that you singled out, these are the key words you want to be saying so that the person that's listening to it can know that that's what you're talking about. The more you can clarify that that's what you're talking about, the better it's going to be for you. Now, the judge is not going to evaluate you on how great your ideas are. They're going to be evaluating you on how well you do at tackling the performance indicators. When you introduce yourself, you say, hi, thank you for meeting with me. And then you say, today we're going to talk about this. This is the scenario going on. You explain the general scenario of what's going on in the role play, and then create a mini agenda. These are the topics we're going to discuss today. We're going to talk about this, 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 and that. And then go ahead and begin from topic number 1 and work your way down to the very end. And you finish by saying, thank you for meeting with me today. If you have any further questions, please go ahead and ask. So you want to make sure that you give them the opportunity to ask questions, and then they'll ask you the questions, and then your role play will pretty much be finished once the questions are done. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer. There are some role plays where a judge will have to ask you questions during your role play, but for the most part, most of them will be after your role play is done. Thank you very much. Thank you for meeting with me today. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to be a part of this interview with the Centennial. I've been a big fan of this luxury establishment for many years. My family has had interest in this company, and so I have definitely thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to be a part of this organization. And I know that before I got this interview, your secretary let me know that one of the big concerns here is safety, and you want to make sure that you have someone that you hire that is well aware about safety and health concerns within the organization. So I want to make sure that we address certain key things within this interview process. And I want to make sure that I talk about the nature of operations, make sure that we cover health and safety regulations that are particular to this organization. I want to make sure how we can cover non-compliance and how we deal with it, and how we can take some precautions in order to ensure safety for our establishment. First things first is going over the operations of this establishment. The operations here, our operations require us to continue on with providing excellent room service, excellent services overall, amenities for our customers, property amenities, full service amenities throughout the property, without endangering the lives of our customers and of course our employees, because that can provide costs for our customers, ourselves, and just provide extra stress for all of us in the long run. Providing that extra stress can lead to poor customer service, and poor customer service, unfortunately, can be a big issue for the entire establishment. Our day-to-day operations require us to make sure that we're doing our best to ensure that we're doing everything to be proactive in keeping customers safe within the workplace. We have to be well aware of the health and safety regulations, in particular the ones from OSHA. OSHA makes sure that we have our customers and mostly our employees safe. There's a lot of regulations we have to follow, and we have to make sure that we follow them. If there's something that we're not following, then we're going to be non-compliant, and we're going to have to do our best to address that issue. And it's not just OSHA. We have to also make sure that everything physical, so that's all the physical stuff when it comes to OSHA. We also make sure the food as well, and that falls under the county health department, and we have to make sure that food is being properly served to our customers as well. So it's not just about physical injuries. It could also be things within the body that can be an issue as well. Non-compliance. If there is something that's non-compliant here, we have to do our best to fix it. And we have to make sure that every employee here within the workplace is trained to be able to address the non-compliant issues. If an employee catches an issue, they have to make sure that they fix it. And we have to take many, many precautions. And that leads us to our last step, which is having precautions. This is what we're going to have to do. Everyone has to be trained specifically to look for safety issues. And that's where we're going to have to come in and provide everyone specific training on locating these issues and doing our best to fix them. If anybody finds an issue with electrical issues, if room service goes in there and they see an issue anywhere within the room that can be a hazard to a client, then we have to make sure we address it. And there has to be a proper way to report it, and that way we can prevent any further issues. So we're going to have to keep training our employees to be able to keep us in compliance and not fall into that non-compliance. So we have to do our best to be able to fix any issues as they come up. At this point in time, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask me. Yeah.